Hello and welcome to Picture Astrology. In this quick video we will talk about placement of Jupiter in its exalted position, which is in the sign of Cancer, and the planet of good luck, the planet of good karmas of your past life. When becomes exalted, it conjures up some really wonderful images. And it's true that when Jupiter becomes exalted, it does impart your life with some very desirable qualities. Yet, this ride of Jupiter is not all bed of roses. There are always some difficulties associated with exalted Jupiter. So let us explore the possibilities and pitfalls associated with this much promised placement. Now, one of the primary reasons why exalted Jupiter is so much coveted by people is that Jupiter, among other things, is the primary significator or primary karaka of what is known as Purva Punya. And Purva Punya basically means the fruits of your past life good karmas. It basically represents things which you have accomplished, you have mastered in your past lives or your past generations, and they are being passed on to you as simply blessings. Jupiter is also karaka of blessings, and blessings basically means something for which you don't have to work in this life. You don't have to put efforts in this life, something which you just receive. And therefore exalted Jupiter is always associated with situations where you put less efforts and gain much rewards. And who doesn't want that? And if you have Jupiter exalted in your horoscope, there will definitely be some areas in which you can feel the blessings. But this placement is not that simple. There will definitely be many other areas which will prove to be quite difficult, and we will look at those in next few minutes. But before that, another very important thing which Jupiter represents is the bliss, is the happiness, is the joy in your life. Now, Jupiter really represents true joy which you can obtain from any relationship. It's the kind of joy which really fills your life with anand, or bliss or ecstasy, like the kind of joy you get when you are playing with babies, small kids, the unbridled laughter, that joy, that happiness. Jupiter is in the similar lines, joy which you get from any other relationship, from marriage, from family, from your work life. The satisfaction of your life is Jupiter. And that is another reason why exalted Jupiter is closely associated with a very satisfied human being. However, as I said in the beginning, there are many catches. It's not that the life is going to be just a beautiful dream because of exalted Jupiter. No. So now let's see some practical examples where this position can become a great opportunity, at the same time great obstacle. Now, one important thing to note is that exaltation is actually an extreme position. There is no middle ground when a planet becomes exalted. And by extreme position, what I mean is that an exalted planet is primed to give extremely good result, but at the same time extremely difficult result also if the planet becomes lord of any of the negative houses. Because planets not only give results according to their own nature, but in your life you will experience the planet owning the houses. Whatever house the planet owns, if it is good or bad, say for example sixth house shows your enemies, and if the lord of sixth house becomes exalted, that means you are going to get powerful enemies in your life. Now Jupiter owns two signs, Sagittarius, which is the 9th sign, and Pisces, which is the 12th or the last sign of the horoscope or of the zodiac. Now, taking the same example, suppose this Sagittarius sign falls in your 6th house of your enemies, obstacles, debts in life, etc. If that happens and Pisces falls into, say, 9th house, which is one of the most wonderful houses, the house of luck, Now in this case, suppose Jupiter becomes exalted. Now you have exalted Jupiter. What will happen? It will be a somewhat difficult position, because exalted Jupiter will definitely give you knowledge. It will definitely give you wisdom. It will definitely give you tendency where you will be very respectful towards people who have knowledge. You will be well known in society. You will attain good position in life. But at the same time, you will also make enemies who are quite powerful in their own sphere. You will also make enemies who are highly educated or highly learned in their own sphere as well. And they, because the Lord of enemies is also exalted now, they are going to be fierce enemies. Remember, when the planet is exalted, it is an extreme position. There is no middle ground here then. Now in this case, whether you will win over your enemies, or let's say, will you always win over your enemies, or are you going to get defeated by them, will primarily depend on the strength of your ascendant. So in this case, if the ascendant and ascendant lords are strong, and some negative planets affect 6th house, then even though you will have formidable enemies, you will win over them. So you see, Jupiter's exaltation provides an eventful life. It gives many great blessings, no doubt, but at the same time can really create some difficult situations also. Now there are a couple of more important things associated with exalted Jupiter. One is pride. Jupiter obviously gives you a lot of knowledge, but exalted Jupiter is often associated with people who have, a extreme level of self-respect, and this could lead to an extent where other people can even think that you are being haughty, that you are too proud of yourself. And say exalted Jupiter is in the 2nd house, then the way you will speak just by your own nature will be like, you will always talk of lofty ideas, big ideas, big things, and that can easily make other people feel a little awkward. Now good thing with exalted Jupiter is that this pride is not hollow. Most of the time that pride is supported or based on actual accomplishment, but too much pride of anything is not good, even if you have great accomplishments. Now one thing is, say if this Jupiter has aspect of Saturn on it. Now Saturn is the planet of humility. So if a good Saturn aspects, or at least Saturn is very strong in your chart, then this kind of ego thing doesn't arise. The other important thing with Jupiter is that it is the primary karaka of fat. Invariably, exalted Jupiter, especially if it is anyways associated with your ascendant or with your moon, then it gives a tendency to put on weight rather easily, and people find it very difficult to lose weight. And various other weight related issues, blood pressure, diabetes, etc., can easily occur when exalted Jupiter is there, especially if again exalted Jupiter in the 2nd house is known to give a amazing love for sweets, and that in turn causes all of these things which we just talked about. Or if Jupiter has aspect on 2nd house also, these kind of things can happen. So again, these people would be truthful, they would speak truth. See, when Jupiter is associated with, say, 2nd house, exalted Jupiter, so they will be lover of truth. If they are astrologers, their predictions will come out to be true, more often than not. They will have blessings of Ma Saraswati in their voice, and yet they will speak with a lot of pride, sometimes bluntly also. Again, aspect on 2nd house will give them good name, also good money position, but it can also end up giving them a lot of responsibility for a big family. So you see, in this variety of ways, exalted Jupiter ends up not only giving you blessings, not only giving you happiness, joy and wisdom and knowledge, but at the same time create some strange difficult situations in life as well. And we will learn more specifically about these situations and how this exalted Jupiter behaves for each of the ascendants separately when we will take up exalted Jupiter for each of the 12 rising signs. So friends, this was my quick analysis of Jupiter exalted. I hope this would have been useful. Please do like, subscribe and click on the bell icon to continue to get updates. And I again thank you very much for spending your time with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.